Hey there, little eyelashes. I sat down to pull some cards and kept getting this strong pull towards someone who's facing a big change in their life right now. So if that's you, this reading might be yours. Everyone else, stick around anyway because something always lands. I pulled 3 cards and they have quite a bit to say. Look at this beautiful collaboration happening in the Three of Pentacles. There's something really grounding about this card. I'm seeing 3 figures working together on something bigger than any of them could create alone. You know what's interesting? I keep getting the word scaffolding. Not just the literal kind you see in construction, but the invisible scaffolding that appears in your life when everything feels unstable. The people who show up, the skills you didn't know you had, the opportunities that emerge from what initially looked like chaos. There's a really strong message here for someone who's been feeling like they have to figure everything out by themselves. You don't. Actually, trying to go it alone right now would be like trying to build a cathedral with just your bare hands. Technically possible, but missing the entire point. I'm seeing the color terracotta, that warm, earthy red-orange. Something about being shaped by gentle, steady pressure rather than sudden force. And I keep hearing foundation work. Not the glamorous stuff that everyone sees at the end, but the deep, careful work that makes everything else possible. For those of you who've been knocked off course recently, and you know who you are, this card is saying your skills haven't disappeared. Your value hasn't diminished. But the way you use them is about to shift completely. The figures in this card aren't just working together, they're learning from each other. Each person brings something essential. What you're going through right now, it's not punishment, it's apprenticeship. The Magician. Now we're talking about power, but not the kind you think. See how he is standing there with one hand pointing up, one pointing down? That's not showmanship. That's someone who's learned to work with what is instead of fighting what isn't. And after that, the Three of Pentacles, we just saw all that foundation work, all that scaffolding. This makes perfect sense. You've been building something. Maybe you didn't even realize it, but every conversation, every small skill you picked up, every person you showed up to help, that was preparation. The Magician is saying you're ready to use it now. I'm getting something very specific here. The number 4, structure and stability, but also the 4 elements. Earth, air, fire, water. You have access to all of them right now, which means you have access to all the tools. But here's what's really interesting about this card in this position. The Magician isn't about forcing outcomes. He's about recognizing that you already have everything you need. That terracotta energy we talked about, that steady, shaping pressure, it's been working on you this whole time. For someone out there who's been feeling completely out of control lately, like everything solid just crumbled, pay attention to this. The Magician appears when you're ready to discover that what felt like destruction was actually renovation. You haven't lost your power. You've been freed from the illusion that your power came from external things. I keep seeing keys, not finding them, having them. You've always had them. But sometimes you have to lose everything else before you notice they're in your pocket. The apprenticeship is ending. What you learn while everything was falling apart. That wasn't just surviving, that was training. The collaboration, the scaffolding, the foundation work. It was all leading to this moment when you realize you don't need permission anymore. You don't need the old structure to come back. You are the structure now. Well, would you look at that? 6 of Cups, and everything just clicked into place. This is the card of coming home, but not to a place, to yourself, to who you were before the world convinced you to be smaller, more practical, more afraid. And after watching you build that foundation, discover your power. Now the cards are saying it's time to remember why any of this mattered in the first place. Look at these children in the card, passing cups filled with flowers back and forth. Pure exchange. No agenda, no keeping score. Just, I have something beautiful and I want you to have it too. That's the energy that's opening up for you now. I keep getting the scent of honeysuckle. Sweet, nostalgic, but also wild, untamed. Something about reclaiming a part of yourself that you had to set aside during all that rebuilding. The scaffolding served its purpose. The magician taught you about your tools. But the Six of Cups is asking, what did you love before you learned to be strategic about loving it? For someone out there, this is hitting really deep. You've been so focused on surviving the change, on proving you could handle it, that you forgot there's supposed to be joy on the other side. The card is showing me someone who's been holding their breath for months, maybe longer. You can exhale now. Here's what's beautiful about this sequence. That foundation work in the Three of Pentacles, it wasn't just about building stability. It was about building a safe enough space for your real self to come back. The power you discovered in the magician, it was never meant to be used defensively. It was meant to protect something precious. This sweetness, this curiosity, this capacity to give freely again. I'm saying the number 6, harmony, but earned harmony. Not the kind you get by avoiding conflict, but the kind you get by walking through the fire and discovering you're still you on the other side. Still generous, still trusting, still capable of wonder. There's someone who needs to hear this specifically. You thought losing that situation meant losing yourself. But Six of Cups is saying you didn't lose yourself. You found yourself. Everything else was just temporary shelter while you remembered who you actually are. The cups are overflowing, not because you're trying to fill them, but because that's what happens when you stop trying to control the flow. When you trust that there's enough, that you're enough, that this new chapter isn't about becoming someone different. It's about becoming who you always were, just with better boundaries and clearer magic. The apprenticeship is complete. Now comes the real work, remembering how to play. So there you have it, eyelashes. From that scaffolding and foundation work to discovering you've had the keys in your pocket all along, to finally remembering that the real magic was never about control. It was about trust, about coming back to that honeysuckle sweetness, that generous heart that somehow survived everything. The universe has been so gentle with you through this transition, even when it didn't feel gentle at all. Every piece of support that showed up, every skill you didn't know you had, it was all preparing you for this moment when you realize you're not just surviving the change anymore. You're ready to thrive in it. If you're here because you're someone facing a big change in your life, I really hope this reading gave you something to hold on to. And let me know in the comments if that number 4 landed for you, or if you've been seeing terracotta showing up in your world lately. I'd love to hear how this one hit. Thanks for trusting me with your energy today, and don't forget to subscribe if the cards keep calling you back here. Most importantly, remember that apprenticeship is over. It's time to play again. Look after yourselves, little eyelashes. You're exactly where you need to be.